Hey, up next on the Marmy Rock Show, really glad to have Seasons After singer Tony Housh back on the show. Their latest album, Manifesto, is an amazing release, and their song Fighters on our Golden Dozen. Tony, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, dude. We really appreciate it, man, for sure.
We love having you on, and I got to tell you, man, I think this is your best release so far, so let's get right into talking about it. The tune Fighter, when I first heard that song, I thought it was maybe about a battle of what it was like being in the music industry, but then I saw the video. So why don't you tell people, I think it means a little bit more.
Well, like with this record, we, the way that we run our business and the way that we do things, we kind of had to learn about more than just, we wanted to go further than just us, bitching about our own problems as far as record industry stuff, which is kind of a little bit of what went on with our last record. So this one, we wanted to make it, more accessible to more people and more understanding to more personalities doing more things and living. So we really wanted to open things up and get people, to relate to what not only, our own personal problems were, but just life in general, just getting by every day.
Tell us a little bit more about some of the people that were in the video. How'd you find those folks?
I would say 98% of everyone that is in that video are people that we've met over the years, and then they, you go out and you play gigs in certain areas, and you have people that show up and they kind of they're in the fan area, and most everybody in that video has went from fan to friend, and we sent a blast out to just a certain amount of people that we had thought about if they'd want to get involved in it, and they all jumped in, and we were thankful for it, man. I mean, it's hard to put a lot of that kind of stuff out there, and so a lot of those people put some deep-seated type problems going on, I guess, or issues that they all have, and that's really what we wanted out of Fighter, was that thing about, standing up, fighting in those battles that you don't know that people are facing, but I know that people would look at me, and we didn't put them in the video, but you'd look at me and think, oh, not insecure. He's a singer for a band, but, I deal with my own insecurities. And we wanted that kind of message put out there that, we all kind of wear these masks and do our thing every day, but on the backside, there's a battle going on with all of us, trying to get through day to day.
Well, it's a powerful song, man, and I'm glad it's going to stay in our dozen, I think, for a while, because that's a pretty good tune, man. So, hey, a couple more things about that record. So it was kind of interesting. Right in the middle of the record, there's this 2-minute little interlude called Into the Ether. And it kind of reminded me, a lot of classic bands used to do that, put a little instrumental right in the middle. What was the discussion behind that?
You know what? There's really, with us, a lot of, the way with being an independent band, something that has been important to us, especially on this record, Manifesto, was to make sure that this record reflected absolutely who we were as a band, as individuals, what we grew up from, all that kind of stuff. You notice there's a lot of guitar solos and musician-y type things like that on the record. And that's part of us. I grew up listening to, my dad introduced me to Pink Floyd when I was young. And so I've grown up on instrumentals and, killer guitar riffs and things like that. And Jimmy just come up with it. Just out of nowhere, sent it to me one day and said, hey, what do you think about this? And of course I'm like, yes, because a pure instrumental, and it was, I don't know, man, there was about 8 or 9 months that we were off and recording and tracking and getting everything together. And that was one of them songs that, I laid back. I would sit back and just plug it in, just listening to a rough cut of everything and whoa, I just kind of go somewhere. Within 2.5 minutes or so, I don't need lyrics or anything with that song. It's just the music speaks for itself. And so, it made sense to put it in there to kind of put a little breather in kind of what we feel like is a little bit of an emotional kind of intense record.
Yeah, but it was kind of like a throwback to another time hearing that in there, and I'm glad you did it. Hearing the Pink Floyd references and all that's way cool. So, another one of my favorite tunes that came to me, I've been listening to the thing all day, is Through the Rain. Now, tell me a little bit more about that. Do you write all the lyrics, or do you guys, I know some bands, the singer writes all the lyrics, some they don't.
No, we all split the duty. A lot of the songs on this album, Jimmy carried a lot of the torch on I'd say about 70-80% of the record. But Through the Rain is one of those songs that we were all writing on. It was kind of one of them deals where we had two songs that were just kind of floating in the back. We knew they were going to get done, but we didn't know how or where they were going. And Through the Rain is one of those last ones that Jimmy wrote a verse, then I wrote a verse, and we just kept building on that song. And before it was over with, we had the entire song, and it was completed just right at the end of the tracking. It didn't really exist when I showed up to track or any of that. It was just one of those last-minute deals. And it's turned out to be, I guess as it is right now, we've only had the record out for, almost 2 months. And I'm just really going to start pushing it this year. But that song seems to get a lot of response out of people as far as, just in general tracks that they like, which is kind of a surprise to us, I think. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just one of those little things that just happens at the end. And you're like, World Gone Mad, it's another track on there that just kind of happens. You're like, wow, it's cool.
Yeah, something drew me to that tune for sure. Now, hey, this is, in my opinion, I mentioned it to you off here, I think this is your guys' strongest release so far. Now, do you feel the band has grown, and if so, in what way?
Absolutely. I've been with the band now. I'm in my 7th year, and it's been pretty much the three of us. We had Tim, which is an original member from the beginnings of the band back in 2006, and Tim was with us through the last album all the way through, but it's kind of dwindled down to myself and Jimmy and Dawson, and then we've added in these other two elements, a new drummer and a bass player this last year, which he's been with us about a year now. But Ryan, our bass player, and Jimmy, which is one of our guitar player, for those of those that don't know us, our guy that does our solos, his name's Jimmy. So Tim and our bass player grew up together playing music, and their dads grew up playing music together. So it kind of made sense whenever we were fumbling through this last year trying to figure out who we wanted to put in that spot. We brought Ryan in, which really strengthened the whole unit because we needed somebody as crazy as us, especially if you're going to do it. If you're going to do it independent and you're going to kind of push against things in your own way, you need someone. We don't need 3 crazy dudes. We need 5. And, and that's the truth. And so, Ryan made a lot of sense. And then we added a drummer, which has turned out to be a great decision for us. So the band's done nothing but grow over the past 6 or 7 years. When a lot of people know the band from a song called Cry Little Sister, the band didn't even know how it operated off of that song or the music or the industry or how the song got to radio or how they were paid. There was none of those things when I joined it. Now we're able to run our own label. We cut our own records. We shoot our own videos. We're getting ready to shoot one for Through the Rain, I believe, and one more in January. So there's been a tremendous amount of growth. Whenever you're running your entire business, and there was a point when we didn't even have a van because we had literally been wiped out from our, just the issues that we were having. It wiped us out. And so we've had to come back from that to the point now to where we've had to, we built up and we can go out and tour and put our videos out and make our own records and we get to do it full time when we're doing it. So definitely the band has grown for sure.
So, I was trolling your Facebook posts today, and I saw your little post about booking a flight about international, and you said, here we come 2017. So, is there anything sneaky you can tell us about international, or is that still all under wraps?
Well, we do have some sneak attacks that are definitely we're putting together right now. But yeah, I put that up because it was funny though when the discussion when I was booking the flight. It was funny because I really said that. The lady she asked me if I would want to go international or however it was worded. I just happened to come out and say not without my band, and I thought it was hilarious. But that's the truth though. We've got some things that we're working and we're wanting to expand and keep going. We have a tour coming up with Shallow Side, which I know you're familiar with those guys.
Oh, I love our guys from Shallow Side, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be heading out with those guys here in, I guess at the end of January. So we're going to pound it hard this whole year, man, and keep continuing to, I guess, kind of go against the grain like we do.
So just two quick things. When you get ready to go out on a tour like that, do you have any like prep rituals? Like, what are the things? Like, how early do you start prepping for a tour? And what kind of things are you doing, or do you just throw a bag together the last week?
No, I actually, we all start because we all live in different states. Every one of us, with the exception of Brian and Jimmy, live in Illinois, but the rest of us live in 3 different states. So there's a lot of prep work that we do on our own, and we've done it like that for years. Like I'm getting ready to Wednesday, I'll be leaving, and I'll head down to Dallas to start doing some gigs. And we might get one rehearsal in, but I've already rehearsed today on my own. So, I mean, that's how we operate, and it's been the way that we operated for years. There's usually about a week of prep work, and the prep work's going to be a little bit cooler this time because we're about to spend the month of January shooting videos and hanging out with one another before we leave out with Shallow Side. So, we'll be all fine-tuned and ready to go, which is kind of not a normal thing for us because, like I said, we just get together and we start jamming. And then when it's over with, we all go home. It's kind of a crazy thing, but, we've gotten used to it.
Well, I know I really appreciate you taking your time out on a holiday week. So I just wonder, 2 last things. Where'd you bring in the New Year? We were right here at the headquarters. You guys travel somewhere, do something fun for New Year's?
I'm actually outside of Boston right now. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, up here. I mean, you're up in New York, right?
No, we're down in Pennsylvania. We're a little bit north of Baltimore.
Oh, I'm totally turned around where you were. No, I'm up in right outside of Boston, and got to bring it in with about 8 inches of snow, which for me that's a big deal. I'm from Dallas, yeah. And it's not that we don't get snow; it's just we don't get a lot of snow. So it was fun, and I got to run a snow blower, which I've already been told that I'm crazy for enjoying that, but it was fun.
It's only fun for a little while.
That's what I'm told. They're like, yeah, we'll let you get a hold of that every day for an entire winter and see what you think. So,
maybe that could be a next music video. Just next music video. Just
cruising down the street with a snowblower. But no, man, it was great. I got to come up here in the Northeast, and I'm a big fan of the East Coast, and I love to be a part of it anytime I can. So I was lucky enough to be up here this year and turn the year in the East.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you being back on the show. Once again, the album is Manifesto. It's an incredible release from Seasons After. It's only been out about a month and a half, 2 months maybe. In fact, I believe it's on sale on your guys' website, seasonsafter.com right now for $4.99, so you cannot beat
That's right.
That. So get
you
out there.
You can't, man. I mean, in this world that we live in, and you know how it goes, man, exposure is everything. We're not making our money off of our music anymore like we are trying to get people to buy your merch and come out to your show and appreciate and love your music. So, that's the cheapest we can go. That's pretty damn cheap because we have a ton of time and hours and work tied up in it like all other bands that have albums out. So that just shows you how desperate we are to get our music out.
Well, it needs to be heard. It's a fantastic release. And, hey, Tony, been a good friend of the show, man. We wish you the best in 2017, and I'm sure we'll see you at a show somewhere soon, man.
Thanks, Rocky. We appreciate it, man.